Sketchy. Hello, good day. This is Josh. Welcome to Sketchy. More Disney art here. One of my favorite. You can tell by now, perhaps, that I gravitate towards that '90s Disney, Renaissance that started with Little Mermaid and went on for a good chunk of time. I've drawn Ariel and The Beast and even Treasure Planet. I guess that counts. But Lion King is, of course, a big deal, and especially the incredibly designed and animated character, Rafiki. Just, wow. A lot of tour de force of character design and animation in that period, and especially in this film. Scar's animation is off the charts, excellent, as is Rafiki's. Just, a fun character, voiced by a beloved stage and television actor, Robert Guillaume. And Lion King is not my favorite. I think at the time, I felt like, give me classic, give me fairy tales, give me musicals, traditional style musicals. I thought that the music some of them, I just didn't prefer the style of the music in Lion King. Some of the songs are undeniably catchy and great, but they work more like a pop soundtrack. When the characters start singing, again, look, it really comes down to Be Prepared. I don't know how Be Prepared isn't talked about more as the worst Disney song ever. I think maybe Hellfire from Hunchback is the most bonkers most bonkers song that ever made it into a mainstream Disney movie. But it's kind of cool, and the animation of that sequence is amazing. But Be Prepared, the villain song, sung by noted musical performer Jeremy Irons, is just awful. It's just bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, that's not my point. I didn't prefer the overall style of what The Lion King was, but I had to admit that it was an impressive accomplishment in animation. It was nice and refreshing. It kept things from getting stale. I just, give me a million Little Mermaids or Beauty and the Beasts and I'll be happy. Even now, I feel like they're musicals, now that the Lin-Manuel style has kind of taken over. He's great, he's very talented, and there's some ripping songs in some of those movies. I like Moana just fine. And what's it called? Encanto is really good. But I just, call me I'm more of a traditional Broadway type of a fan. And so the Ashman and Menken stuff, which for obvious reasons, was lightning in a bottle in terms of the trends and, of course, in terms of the passing of Howard Ashman. It's kind of gone, and it's hard to recapture it. But Frozen was not for me, and some of the newer Disney stuff, it's not for me. But that's okay. That's all right. There's so much good stuff to go around, and I've, now as the 4K editions of these 90s classics are coming, oh boy, it's nice to revisit them. Got the 4K of Beauty and the Beast recently, and it's gorgeous. It looks great. They didn't put the work print on there. That's the only thing. You still have to hang on to your Blu-ray if you want that awesome work-in-progress edition of Beauty and the Beast. But this pose of Rafiki is not one-to-one. It's just an amalgamation of a moment that I remember, and I kind of fleshed it out and used a few sources to fill in the gaps, and quite happy with how it reads, in terms of action and attitude. And here it is. I guess the only interesting thing about coloring Rafiki that I didn't realize till I started to do it is that he's got 4 or 5, I think it was 5 different shades of basically gray. So what I've done is I've taken just my brush color. I draw with a very dark, slightly brown brush color, pencil color, and then I just expand that out. And what I'm doing is I'm just filling it in that color, and then I'm using transparency to change the tone so that I'm not selecting 5 different gray colors. I'm using the same color for every layer here for several in a row until we get to some different colors. And then I'm just using opacity, transparency, to find the tone I need. And now I'm moving on to the other colors that are not based on black or gray. And that works, of course, then if you're going to do, especially if you're going to use opacity and transparency, and then if you're going to use a background color, which I'm eventually going to do, you then have to erase that color out. But I already have to do that because of the texture I use, those little flecks of texture that I like in my color. They are also transparent, so that's why I have to do a lot of erasing. And I'm not sure that I recorded the full background coloring. It might just pop to the finished picture here because I did it as an afterthought. But here I am filling in the color. I don't think the drawing is going to change at this point. It's mostly just coloring. What can I say? There's so many moments. It was hard to pick one. I wanted to kind of draw Rafiki running with his staff or bonking Simba on the head or something like that. But in the end, this was a great way to showcase the whole figure of the character and the attitude, and a memorable moment, and also his most baboon-like behavior in the movie. I feel like I'm just about out of things to say, and we're down to less than a minute remaining. So I will thank you for your time and for watching. It tickles me that anybody would be interested enough to watch these and listen to me ramble. I always draw things that I'm excited about, so it stands to reason that I would have something to say about them. Sometimes I run out of juice before the end of the thing, but here we are. There's the background, finished drawing. Josh out. Goodbye.